And so I want to thank the workers here. You see, on cold days like this, these folks don't care about politics, they care about getting the job done. These folks are working because they believe not just in the urgency of this project, but they believe that that's how America is built, by putting working people first, by building things with your hands, by getting the job done. And it's all being unraveled today by a president that is so petty and so small that he's concerned about the things that don't matter to working people and is yet taking another action that is going to make it more difficult for working Americans. I want to thank the governor, who will be here very shortly, and my colleagues in Congress for focusing on getting this done. You see, we've been working on this project for well over a decade now, trying to eliminate all the obstacles to get the funding flowing. And we are going to continue to work until we see justice for these workers and justice for all those who live in this region and suffer from the lack of infrastructure investment. I want to thank the governor, who's going to speak here and she'll talk about the legal actions that she and her administration are taking. But I want to bring up some of the people I've been working side by side to make sure this project flows. Some of the folks that have been putting their shoulders into it for a long time to make sure we have the resources necessary. I want to bring up first Representative Bob Menendez. Please come forward. Robert.
Do I get back to you or just call next?
Call the next person.
Hi, good morning. Is labor out here today?
Yeah!
So listen, thank you so much to Senator Booker, to our entire federal delegation, to Governor Sherrill. Senator Booker's been a leader on this issue for years, driving this project forward from conception to what you're seeing here today. Shovels, machinery in the ground, building our next age of infrastructure. But listen, we shouldn't be out here today. This project has met every major milestone on time and on budget. It has thousands of good-paying union jobs who are showing up every single day and driving the project forward. So we all know what should be obvious to anyone. This is bullshit. We should not be out here. The president is playing political games, not just for the future of our infrastructure in the region, but the men and women who are standing here, their jobs, their livelihood, their ability to put food on their families' tables. For what reason? Because he has a vendetta against New York and New Jersey representatives, because he wants to put his name on Penn Station. That's why we're going to jeopardize this project. It's insane. And we're all united against this, from our brothers and sisters in labor to the delegation members to our incredible governor. We are going to continue to push back. This project has made sense from day one. It makes sense today. We will continue to drive it forward because that is what our residents have asked for. That is what this region and this country deserve. So I thank you all so much for what you do every single day. It's a privilege to do this work alongside of you. And with that, I have the good fortune of introducing my incredible colleague, Congressman Pallone.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Look, I just want to speak for my colleagues and what some have already said. We just want to get this thing done. That's the bottom line. It's been too long, too much money, and now this money is frozen by a president who has no idea what he's doing in closing down this project. I want people to work, right? You guys are going to be laid off, from my understanding, after today if this money isn't unfrozen by President Trump. He's got to stop this nonsense. This is an economic issue. This is a worker issue, right? In other words, if you look at this tunnel that's being built, if it's not being built, if it doesn't get built and soon continue, then we're talking about an economic crisis here for people that have to go back and forth to work, for goods that have to be delivered back and forth, you know, in the New York, New Jersey area. It is an economic issue for workers, for people, for the economy in general. I don't understand how this president does not realize that. Now, look, if he wants something named for him, I got lots of landfills in Middlesex or Monmouth County I represent, or maybe a Superfund site. Look, I'll name something after him, but don't play this nonsense, this political nonsense, because all it's doing is hurting you as workers, hurting our economy, and we need to move forward. And with that, I'd like to introduce now Congressman Josh Gottheimer.
All right, Josh.
Thank you, Congressman Pallone. Thank you, Senator Booker, for bringing us together. I want to thank the mayor. I know we're in his town. Does a great job, and all the elected officials here, all my colleagues, and especially the men and women of labor. Give it up to the men and women of labor. Yeah. Let's go. You're talking about not only 1,000 jobs here, but thousands of people who depend on these tunnels. 200,000 commuters every single day who rely on these tunnels. 20% of the nation's economy that rely on these tunnels. Yet they decide to wake up one day, even after they have a deal that we've worked on for years, even after we put the funding forward, even after shovels are in the ground and sites are moving, and they just decide to wake up and stick it to Jersey. Why? Because they feel like, I don't know, some political reason. They didn't feel well that day. Who knows why they're sticking it to Jersey? And to New York, and to the tri-state area, and to the entire country. 20% of the nation's GDP runs through here. So, we're either going to put up with this BS, or we're going to stand up to it. What we're doing today is making it very clear that we plan to work multi-track. Track one, as you'll hear, we go to court and remind them that we had a deal, that this thing is moving forward, that they can't just decide on a whim to shut it down. The second thing we're going to do to stop those shovels from going down today, the second thing we're going to do is continue working, staying at the table, talking to anybody and everyone. And that's what I'm talking. I talked to my Republican colleagues last night again who care about this project too, and reminded them, God forbid anything happens to those 116-year tunnels. God forbid it'll shut down or something worse to public safety. It's on their hands. It's on the White House's hands. So our job is to keep working with everybody, as I'll continue to do, talking to my colleagues on both sides in the Congress, talking to the White House, talking to everyone to remind them, keep this project moving forward. It's great for the economy, it's great for families, it's great for Jersey, and it's great for America. It's pretty simple. There's no other excuse. So cut the political crap, do the right thing, keep these tunnels on track, and let's figure this out. There's no reason we shouldn't, and I will keep working like my colleagues, 24/7, talking to anyone, working with everyone until we make that happen. And in the meantime, we'll see him at court today. Amen. Thanks so much. God bless.
Amen. All right, we're going to bring up next Nellie Poe.
No, by the way, Gwen's next.
Oh, Gwen's next. Okay.
MacGyver's next. MacGyver's actually next, I think. Okay? That was my screw up.
All right.
Okay. Did Nellie go? Oh, no, it's okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, it says you're next.
Okay. We're actually going by the list here. So thank you so very much, Senator Booker, for putting us all, getting us all together in one place to advocate for our great state and our working residents, each and every one of you. If the Trump administration succeeds in this reckless, partisan, colossally stupid attack on our state, more than 1,000 workers will immediately lose their jobs. These are skilled union workers, each and every one of you on the job, the builders, the welders, the engineers, and all others, all of them earning a living, all of them out of a job. Building a gateway is not a luxury endeavor. It is the most important transit project in our entire country. To our state, it is existential. The existing tunnel is older than penicillin. Imagine that. And it carries hundreds of thousands of commuters every single day. If our tunnels fail, when they fail, the damage to New Jersey and the entire Northeast will be catastrophic. This freeze is not about oversight. It is about hurting our state and our people. In fact, last night, we got news report and suggesting that Donald Trump, as you heard, will release the money if Dulles Airport and the New York Penn Station are renamed for him. This project is a life and death, and it's too important for this crap, much too important. Let me just say that as the only New Jersey Democrat that currently serves on the House Transportation Committee, I can tell you, and you've heard from my colleagues, Congress authorized this funding under the law. The state has done their part. Shovels are in the ground. Construction is underway. You do not get to pull the plug because you don't like who benefits. We have a new governor. We have a united delegation. We support the state's lawsuit, and we will not take this nonsense laying down. We will not let this administration jeopardize all of you, all the workers' livelihoods, or our region's future on a whim. Gateway will move forward. We have waited much too long and come too far for anything less. Together, and we are all together here, we must make sure of it. Thank you so very much, Senator Booker.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bring forward LaMonica MacGyver.
Thank you all. Good morning. They saved the youngest for last, and I love that. Thank you to Senator Booker for joining us today, bringing us all together. I want to thank my colleagues for being here as well, to all of the local elected leaders that are here. Thank you so much for being here. And to our brothers and sisters in labor, to everybody working on this site, thank you so much for being here. Look, hundreds of thousands of riders depend on this system every day. When the train is delayed, people are late to work. When infrastructure fails, people lose wages and even their jobs. The Gateway program was a promise to fix and expand the rail tunnel under the Hudson River so trains between New Jersey and New York can run more reliable for people in New Jersey and New York and whoever travels, quite frankly, through our system. And Donald Trump has taken the future of one of the busiest rail routes in the country and tossed it to the side. Why? Because simply he's having a temper tantrum in a moment. We're talking about 95,000 good-paying jobs, $19.6 billion in economic activity erased, $87 million in direct purchases from our businesses wiped away. That's money that would have flown directly into New Jersey's future. And they say that they put America first, but they cut American jobs. Trump and his administration say they care about working families, but they raise the cost and take away infrastructure that people rely on. And my Republican colleagues, as mentioned by one of my colleagues, they may care about it, but they will not stand up to this president and demand that he fund this project. They are more concerned about their party than they are concerned about the people in New Jersey. Meanwhile, the people in New Jersey are still dealing with overcrowded trains, still waking up earlier than they should, still paying the price for political games in Washington. Gateway was about building the transportation system our communities deserve. We are not done fighting. Let me say that again. We are not done fighting. New Jersey, we are together, we are unified, and we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that we get this project back up and running and that it is funding. New Jersey has the momentum for its future, and that's something that Donald Trump cannot stop. Thank you all.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Before I bring up the people that actually do the hard work, I just want to make sure that we acknowledge, I should have done this earlier, First Mayor Richie Turner from the great town of Weehawken is here. I know the Assemblyman Gabe Rodriguez is here as well. Larry Weinstein, our Assemblyman also. My dear friend, former Congressman, giant in his own right, Albio Series is here. We've got members of the Gateway Development Commission who work on this every single day. I want to thank my old friend Zoe Baldwin, even though she's very young still. from the Regional Plan Association, and all of our labor partners. Before we get to the labor speakers, I want to thank all the labor unions that are represented here, the mighty Teamsters, the mighty carpenters, the iron workers, IBEW, LIUNA. We have so many great representatives here, but right now speaking, we're going to bring up from Teamsters 560, Joe DePalma. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe.
Thank you. Today, we are here to object to President Trump's deeply misguided decision to cancel funding to the Gateway Tunnel project. This project is essential, not just for infrastructure, but for working people, for Teamsters Local 560 and organized labor throughout New Jersey and New York. Gateway represents thousands of union jobs that sustain families, strengthen communities, and keep our regional economy moving. President Trump's canceling of this funding puts those jobs at risk and sends the wrong message to working men and women. The impact goes far beyond labor. Millions of residents rely on this corridor every day. Without the Gateway Tunnel, delays increase, costs rise, and businesses suffer. This region is a critical economic hub for the entire country, and failing to invest in modern, reliable infrastructure threatens long-term economic stability for both sides of this tunnel. We want to thank Senator Cory Booker, Governor Mikie Sherrill, and the rest of our elected leaders that are here today for their leadership and continuing to fight to keep this project funded. Their commitment recognizes that infrastructure investment is not optional, it's necessary. We urge President Trump to reverse this course, restore funding, and do what's right for workers, residents, and the regional economy. Thank you.
All right, all right. All right, I see the governor's arrived. Governor, come a little closer to this microphone. Get in this, get next to me. There you are. All right, we're going to really quickly, though, go. We want to hear from Representative Leader from Labor's 472, Robert Campos. Come on up here.
Good morning. I'm Robert Campos, a business representative for Labor's Local 472. I'm here today on behalf of over 7,600 members who live and work on infrastructure projects throughout northern New Jersey. Today is a bad day for our members. Just last week, I was over on the Tunnelly Avenue site as our members poured concrete. Today, the future of this project is in question. As of the end of the day, these sites may be empty and our brothers and sisters may not have a job to return to. The same is true for our brothers and sisters working across the river on the New York side of the project, and for so many members of the other unions that are assembled here today. Today, they have a steady job and paycheck. Tomorrow, they may be unemployed and wondering when they will return to work and where their next paycheck may come from. Honestly, I cannot understand why they would not be working. This is the most important infrastructure project in the country. The Gateway project was fully funded, and there is no good reason for the project to not continue. This project strengthens our infrastructure and invests in the future of our country. The last time this project was stalled, it took 17 years to get it restarted. Our members in our country cannot afford to wait another 17 years. I would like to thank Senator Booker, Governor Sherrill, and all the elected officials here today for their support and all the work they have done on behalf of the Gateway project. Keep Gateway funded, keep our members working.
Yeah. Amen.
Thank you, sir.
I want to bring forward now from the Hudson County Buildings and Construction Trades, Tom Hurley.
How you doing, everybody? I'm a carpenter by trade, but I represent all the men and women of the Hudson County Building Trades. I'm actually here as the vice president, but moreover, I'm here for all these men and women that are labor leaders in Hudson County and New Jersey. If you look at it, the middle class are the lifeblood of the community. We build your schools, we build your hospitals, your roads, highways, and bridges and tunnels. What's important here is that we recognize this is not a matter of bullying or something that can be put off. This is vital, crucial infrastructure to the Northeast, to the region, as echoed by all the elected officials here today and my fellow labor leaders. So when you think about when you're in your car and you're sitting in traffic, or you're walking through and you need to go to an emergency room, look at the men and women that build those and know that we are the community. We're the taxpayers. We're the people that have families that send our kids in these cars, in these trains to get to school, to get to work. It's important that this project get done, not just for the optics, but for the community, for the actual people that are going to use it. Amen. So on behalf of the Hudson County Building Trades, I hope that everybody keeps in mind that this is not about politics. It's about the working class, the middle class, the lifeblood of what makes New Jersey what it is. Thank you.
You're here. Amen. All right, I bring to the microphone our state's great leader, Governor Mikie Sherrill.
Thank you. It is so wonderful to be here with members of our delegation, with Senator Booker, Representatives Menendez, Gottheimer, Pallone, Poe, McIver, and to see our great men and women of labor here today. It is always an honor, a true honor, to fight for the men and women of labor. I have to tell you that they built this nation, they are the backbone of this nation, and they are the future of this nation. And every single time President Trump gets involved, our working men and women suffer. And you're seeing it here today, because you're seeing a president who has moved the goalposts again and again and again for the 1,000 people that are employed on this project who are going to have to go home today and tell their families that they don't have a job on this site. Because the President of the United States has decided to play politics with their job, has decided to play politics with our economy, has decided that politics are more important to him than the working men and women of this country. And I am telling you, here in New Jersey, we are not going to stand for it. We are drawing the line here. We are in court today. We have sued the president. We are fighting for the working men and women on this project and the almost 100,000 working men and women that this project could employ, the $20 billion of economic output that it could mean to our region, and why, as a president, you would punish this region of the country, responsible for almost 20% of the nation's GDP. Building the future of America right here. Why you would attack that, I do not know. But I will tell you what I've heard. I've heard it's because he wants Dulles Airport named after him. I've heard it's because he wants Penn Station named after him. I've heard that that's what he cares about more than the people on this job site. That's not who we're fighting for. We're not fighting for ourselves, we're fighting for our country, and we're fighting for working men and women here in New Jersey. So that's my commitment to everybody here today. I was called when I was in Congress, the tunnel-obsessed congresswoman. I thought that I could move forward on other projects, but I will tell you, I remain the tunnel-obsessed governor, and I will remain so until this tunnel's finished. So thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Governor, why don't you ask Mike the first question?
And we'll start with on-topic questions.
Yeah, why don't we go over here, please?
Goalposts move every 5 minutes. So at first it was the DBE requirements, which the federal government was questioning, even though they're federal requirements. We assured them we had that covered. And then it was the DHS funding. Now it's the naming. I mean, there is no deal. The goalposts move every 5 minutes, but what doesn't happen is investment in working men and women.
Why not just change
forth, get this project moving.
I would flip that and say, why doesn't the President of the United States just fund a requirement that he has to fund, that Congress has told him to fund, that has appropriated the money? Why not stop attacking working men and women? That's what I would suggest. When I talked to him, he didn't ask that. But again, I think he's asked for a lot of things because I think he moves the goalpost. There is no deal with this president. He does not deal. He does not invest in people. He does not. And by the way, just so we can walk us back from what's actually happening here, so we can all focus on the fact that this is illegal. This money was designated by Congress. He does not legally have the right to make any more demands on this money. This money is illegally being withheld. So there's no need to deal. That's why we're in court. There is a need to release the hold on this so that working people can get back to work.
Look, there's no trust with this president. He has broken his word over and over again. This project you see here is not a partisan project. It's not Democrat or Republican. This is a bipartisan project in which Congress moved the funding for this project. We live in a constitutional democracy. The president does not have the right to stop a project, put 1,000 people out of work because he's suddenly creating yet another thing that he wants. That's not a deal. We have a legal binding obligation of these funds done in a bipartisan manner. This is a president that is so reckless and cruel that he's willing to stop the most important infrastructure project in the country, throw 1,000 construction workers out of a job, risk the economy of a region, and for what? And so we're standing strong. We're Jersey. We have a governor that's fighting this in court, and we're appealing not to Republicans or Democrats, but to Americans. Look at the American pride. I don't see party symbols on these men's hats, these men and women's hats. I see the American flag here. Why is a president attacking our country and injuring our workers, all for what? For yet another thing that he's created overnight because he woke up in the morning and wanted to hurt the people that ride the trains so he could put his name on it.
Yeah, good job, Cory.
Listen, we've all been through this for more than a decade. In his first administration, he was stopping work on this project and had some new trumped-up idea of something he wanted. Every time he moved the goalpost, we met it. Every time he changed his mind, we got him back on track. How often are we going to go? Today, it's that he wants to name a train station out of himself. I don't know what it's going to be tomorrow, but I know the people around us right now, they need their paychecks. Their families are depending on this work. And they're working for hundreds of thousands of people who live in this region who are tired of delayed trains, who are tired of infrastructure that doesn't serve us. And so this is ridiculous. This is a petty, small man who's undermining American jobs, American progress, and American safety, and the American economy. He is making us pay for his petty, pathetic nature.
Today we're in court to demand a TRO to get the spigots turned back on. That'll be for about 12 days, I believe, while the court can hear the merits of the case.
Any last question on topic? All right, the governor and I think we'll do some pull-asides. We just want to thank the men and women from labor that are here. We're going to fight for you. Thank the congressional delegation.